Hey guys, thanks for joining us for podcast number 2. Today we had on Kyle Roswell and Callum Wassell. They're both trainers at the local F45, Gladesville F45, the best F45 around. We talked a whole bunch of things. We talked about our exercising with fasting. Callum's very well versed with the fasting side of things. We also had a chat about F45 versus CrossFit versus bodybuilding. We talked about and eating and the effect it can have on exercise. We discovered that, or we talked about whether or not Kyle is actually on growth hormone. So stay tuned for that one. And we also talked about why F45 Gladesville is the best, because they do things a little bit differently than other F45s that I've come across. And I've been to several gyms around, and by far they're one of my favorite places to train. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we have a bit of a rant about what we just talked about. As always, I'm Eric from Brain and Body Health. So if you've got any questions, feel free to email in to eric@brainandbodyhealth.com.au. If you're looking to get in touch with either Kyle or Callum, best bet to either drop by F45 Gladesville and say g'day that way. Otherwise, they can be found on Facebook, so you can track them down that way. All right, enjoy. So podcast number 2. Ooh, that was a bit high. Podcast number 2.
Do we post number 1?
No, yeah, I'm still editing it. I figured out how to get that double out of the way, so but the sound quality is not quite as good. But yeah, I'll show you a copy. It was good. It was really good. But
what was number 1 about?
We just talked fasting. Hey,
Are we filming this?
Yeah.
Where are we, bro?
Oh, you want to see it?
Yeah, bro.
I'd love to see it.
You want to see it? All right.
That's why we had it last time. Got to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see? All right, that's us, bro.
Yeah.
Give us a flex.
Yeah, so you did it.
All right. So let's talk, mate. So you're doing a 5-day fast and training at the same time. How?
Yeah.
Oh, I swore.
Actually,
That's
let's restart. Let's restart because 5-day fast is over because I had a heavy night, so I finished it this morning at 4 days. So.
Oh, you finished early. Good start. All right. Okay. Well, let's start.
We can start with fasting. But
How'd you go? Because you did a 4-day fast.
4-day fast. Yeah.
And you were training at the same time and functioning as a human being.
Yeah, semi-functioning, as functioning as I always do.
But you like training through it.
Training through it. Yeah. So still trying to keep up the same intensity. I mean, I don't really find the energy levels dip while I'm fasting.
Yeah?
Yeah, I find, to be honest, the same energy levels are there.
But like training volume wise and that sort of everything's 100% the same?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm working as well, so doing shifts on it and training just as heavy. So I don't find there's any...
Yeah.
Any
What was my mind that's how it's working for you? Because I feel like if I'm not eating... Like I train in the morning, so I'm not fasting, I guess, overnight. It was not really, but...
Yeah, except for that time that you strolled into the gym just
with a banana.
Banana hanging out of your mouth in your armies. I swore again.
Eric, you swore.
You swore.
That's one to me. Yeah, you bloody stroll in happy as Larry.
It was 7:15. I think that's an okay time to be eating a banana.
Yeah, I'm just
saying, regardless,
finishing
my normal
before you turn up to the
normally,
gym.
If I don't eat before an afternoon session, for example, I do feel lethargic. I do feel less strong.
See, if I eat like an hour or half hour before a workout, I'm throwing chunks. Okay, every time. It could be a couple of biscuits and I'm still... Blah.
Actually.
Yeah. Super sensitive, Sally.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind it, once you get your body switched on to essentially burning fat for fuel rather than glycogen, that's the dip in energy that people feel.
We're transitioning?
Yeah, well, you'll notice that when people are burning glycogen for fuel, the reason they feel hungry or lethargic is because their body is using, like, let's say you normally, your body has a certain level of glycogen in it. Think of it as like a fridge, and this is actually in this example's in a book called The Ultimate Guide to Fasting, which we spoke about on our last one. Yeah. And the example they give is think of your glycogen stores as a fridge, and you store your glycogen in the fridge, and then think of your fat stores as you store that in the freezer. And so you wouldn't take energy out of the freezer until you'd used everything in the fridge. if that makes sense. So your
Yeah,
body
sure.
will use
absolutely.
your body will use your glycogen first
So it's just
for
that,
energy.
that transition period when the fridge is empty and you
Yeah.
go, oh, I've got
Start
to
going
get something out of the fridge.
freezer.
Yeah, so like maybe necessarily when you've had an afternoon session, you've had a big day of work, or you've had a heavy day, or you've already trained in the morning, your body's searching for glycogen because that's the easiest energy source it can find.
So in that analogy, as you become better adapted at going fat for fuel, you're pulling stuff out of the freezer before you need it.
Absolutely, yeah.
See?
So
That makes sense.
yeah, so it's a
Heading
good
to the
good
fridge before the
transition.
fridge.
Yeah, you just bring it out before you did that work? Oh, it did work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So that's it. Yeah.
Right.
Great book.
Good book.
Yeah.
Good read. I'm like well out of frame. What the hell am I doing? See, look, we've got you two guys, but
we're doing all right.
Hey, I'm here. No? All right. You say I don't need to be in it. It's just have the just have you two guys.
We could get a second camera pointed directly at you, so
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just
But then what would happen is I'd just have it on me 100% of the time. And you guys,
Excellent.
you just
I
have
feel
this
like maybe you should be swapping back and forth.
disembodied.
Yeah, just maybe a couple cuts. I don't know.
The Eric show and
And someone else.
two voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So training was all right.
Yeah.
But how does it? Is there because I know like when you're running on that glycolytic cycle and the foods that you eat when you're on carbs as fuel tend to be a bit more inflammatory
Yeah.
than when you're because what I read, like the more like inflammation essentially just kills gains dead.
Yeah.
So you from that point of view, it's probably better to be training on that fasted.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's very much depends person to person as well. You know, I mean, glycogen's still a great source of energy.
Yeah.
Like it's the quickest form of energy. Your body likes glycogen. It likes using glycogen. So let's say you have, like a banana before your workout, you'll get that spike of energy. It's pretty dated, or not dated, but it's a pretty common practice to most people will say have a banana before you work out because you'll get that energy increase.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or have a like it used to
That's
be.
awesome.
I don't know, when I used to play sport, it was I was told by my coaches to have a big carb meal a couple hours before you play, right? So you
Yeah,
get that,
yeah.
So you get that real big energy.
Get that slider steak into you before.
Yeah,
You
exactly right. Whereas,
have you found like once you started fasting, has it been do you find it easier to like put on muscle or anything like that since doing the fasting stuff, or do you find your functional fitness?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really training as like I used to be a very, very into my bodybuilding or trying to build muscle.
Yeah.
I've kind of steered away from that, so it's not necessarily about trying to build as much muscle as possible.
Getting that function.
Getting that function, yeah, or maintaining as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
fasting for me.
Because that is exhausting to maintain.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You see guys doing the bodybuilding style training. You can't keep that up.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just going to kill your
work.
joints.
It's a healthy balance as well, right? Like you either choose to have your entire life dedicated to it, or have a bit of a mixture, So
Oh, Mel quit unexpectedly. Stupid app. I was going to ask. I'm going to say something about. Yeah, but like, have you seen? Do you get many bodybuilders training fasted or anything like that?
I haven't researched it, to be honest. I mean,
they're all about that chicken and rice diet.
yeah, that high carb in
calorie.
building phase, that
Can you macros?
and that's super high protein as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like again, I've steered away from that. Again, I didn't start fasting or
I suppose
eating like that.
That super high protein works when you're cheating. You got that someone injecting into your butt.
Yeah, that's
See,
right.
Was it?
Extra testosterone.
Because I read, or I didn't read it. I swore again. Damn it, that's two for me.
You swore.
Heard a podcast where they were talking about when you're on these like super high protein diets, that your body can only use so much protein for the purposes of making muscles, and then any extra actually works as a counter. It starts to go acidic, and I wish I could remember stuff. I need to start fasting so my short-term memory gets better.
There's an age-old saying that you've probably heard that losing weight or building muscle is calories in versus calories out, right? To lose weight, you put a certain amount of calories in your body. If you burn that amount of calories, you'll lose weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So that would work, but the calories you put into your body aren't stored the same, if that makes sense. So you put carbs into your body, that's stored as glycogen.
Source, right?
Yeah, that's stored as glycogen. But protein, your body can't store protein. It doesn't store it and save it for later.
Yeah.
You give yourself protein and it either uses the protein to repair muscle or help build, and the excess protein then gets converted and either stored as a fat, or as glucose. So it doesn't. You don't store protein.
Do you do like protein shakes, or did you do protein shakes?
Used to, yeah.
Kyle, you done protein shakes?
No, I've never. But not out of distaste for them or anything like that. It's just
lazy.
Well, I wouldn't say lazy.
Not about that life.
It's a preference to eat.
I prefer to eat. I've never. I've never gotten to a point in my training where I've found eating hasn't been working for me.
And like,
the only thing.
Tell me true, bro, because you put on a bit of size over the last year.
That's more consistent training. No cheats.
Putting that injection in your butt?
No. I kind of wish then I would have more training in me, but I just that
get back knee all over everywhere.
Not interested in that.
Yeah,
really.
It's not right.
I'm not. I like pimple popping, but not acne. No, that's not for me. No, I've just never found the need for it. In the fact that two of my best mates have been trainers for a long time, and they've always talked about if your diet is enough.
It should be enough.
Yeah, that's right. So
get it from food.
I mean, most people will get more than enough protein from the food that they eat, because excess protein. It's almost as bad as excess carbs. Like your too much protein is actually detrimental to your health. It'll destroy your insulin your receptors, right? And so it'll work against you. So
makes sense. So you've done. How did you get into training so you were like pretty fit and athletic as a kid, then bodybuilding stuff, and then more functional stuff lately?
Yeah, more lately. The fasting, the keto, the high fat started more to control my cholesterol. Bodybuilding, at one stage I was 98 kilos, and at my height, if you see me, it's not really that functional. Yeah,
you're about 4'10"?
About 3'7", I believe, in
metric
terms.
Is that midget or is that height impaired?
I believe the technical term is vertically challenged.
Vertically challenged.
Yeah. But so that kind of shifted to I couldn't move, right? It wasn't functional. You couldn't play sport properly.
So I remember
a lot of things
when I got into lifting weight, went straight into that bodybuilding style training, and I was doing karate at the time, and I'm like, I could not throw a punch to say, it was just anytime now, anytime, and I've been hit 6 times in the meantime.
Yeah,
it feels like punching through water.
Oh, yeah. If I landed, you're gone. But it's just moving so slow.
Yeah, it's a different. I think everyone goes through their different stages, right?
Yeah.
So I got to a stage where it just wasn't working for me. I didn't feel good.
That my shoulders got destroyed with all the stupid stuff.
You get more injuries, right? Like you're pushing weights that aren't really...
Good old upright rows. Whoever invented upright rows, it must be Cairo, because they wanted more...
Upright rows and bench press, that's it. That's all you do.
Let's get that somewhere.
Yeah.
What's the... See people doing straight-legged deadlifts.
Yeah.
That's a nice...
that one was fun for me.
Practice builder.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's pros and cons to all forms of training. And bodybuilders, fair play to them. You need the discipline. And, it's hard work.
Commitment.
It's commitment. It's hard work to do that. So,
yeah.
But if your whole life's not dedicated to it and you're...
Yeah, it's got to be 100%.
Yeah, it's got to be 100%, right? And it takes a lot of commitment, so...
Because you're training at the gym every day at 45.
Yeah.
But then you're still hitting soccer and stuff in the elbows.
Yeah. So generally I'll try. It's a bit tougher with shift work. So shift work will train there as well. But I generally try to train every day at F45, do a session there.
Because because if you're doing that bodybuilder style training where you're just going for size and not function, you're not doing anything else that day.
Yeah, you're not doing cardio.
Nah.
You're not doing cardio.
like,
you're not doing another weight session.
Yeah. After a legs day, going for a long walk. No.
Yeah, exactly right. You're hitting
not going to have you total fatigue.
Heavy sets, heavy reps for an hour, 2 hours in the gym.
Yeah,
and you're just absolutely destroying muscle groups, right?
You're going to roll out of the gym. That's the best thing you're going to do.
You won't walk downstairs for the next 3 days.
Yeah, you'll look like a swollen testicle though.
Yeah.
So there is.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to look like.
There is that.
Swole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like finding that functional movement, and for anyone, Kyle has been training F45, and that form of training pretty like that's the only form of training. Right?
That's I was just going to say it's the only training I've ever done.
Yeah.
For the most part, I played sport, but nothing high level. So it was just run around the park for a bit. Yeah. When
you're doing other stuff, like, because if you haven't done heaps of sport outside of things, like if you, with that functional style training, you reckon that strength, so like when you go rock climbing.
Yeah.
Does the fitness hold up?
I'm finding, the rock climbing, I'm strong through a pull. Yeah. So I can hold on to the wall for longer than what I used to be able to hold on to.
Technique.
Not necessarily. I'm getting to that point of technique.
Yeah.
Where I've got to figure out how my body can be hold against the wall, but in the actual terms of holding onto the rocks,
like endurance,
I'm a lot stronger than before.
Yeah. So you find it translates into normal life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's like with bodybuilding. Yeah, it doesn't translate in it. Like you get really good at doing that one movement.
You'd be stronger, right? In terms of the fact that before I couldn't do a chin up. Legitimately would not, in a wide grip overhand position, I would not be able to move myself up in any way, shape or form. But through that training, I got that movement, right? The same would be applied to a bodybuilder. They'd have the strength
in that movement.
Not necessarily to do a chin up, but they would have the strength to do something. And I imagine that would translate into the grip of holding the wall, but not necessarily into the movement of climbing up a wall.
I don't know, man, because the couple of bodybuilders I looked after, it's like they're just big as a house, and then and I was just moving the couch the other day, and their back just got ripped to shreds. Yeah. Like super strong through the gym movements,
right?
But just did not translate
anywhere else.
It's the same as like most stuff, right? Like I think, you'll notice the same. Like if I train a lot of F45 and only F45 and only those movements, but then jump on a soccer field, I won't necessarily be match fit.
I can't run.
So you need, everything's got their match fitness, but it's the same.
Different style fitness.
Yeah, a bodybuilder, like if they're doing bench press every single day, they'll get really good at bench pressing.
But then, it's like F45 versus CrossFit. Because CrossFit's like, functional training as well.
For time, yeah.
But, come on, that's a...
I'm sure there's a time and place that you can do snatches for time.
Is there?
Look, I don't
time and weight.
From what I know about CrossFit,
call the ambulance.
Is that it's not. I wouldn't say it's terrible for people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. So if you've got the skill set,
if you've got the skill set, you've got strength, and you've been training for a long enough time.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with you wanting to try that, but I do not see it as an entry level training session. No one who's never been to the gym before should consider CrossFit as something they go to.
Because, I see that, because, if you look at, people never lifted before, never trained in the gym, anything like that, and they go into, an F45 gym, you're not going to get hurt. There's some movements in there, but you're not doing it to fatigue, and before you do get to fatigue, you're onto a different exercise.
Different.
Whereas, freshie goes into a CrossFit gym.
They tell you to lift 100 kilos 100 times.
Yeah, let's do 90% of your 1RM for blah, 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 blah. It's too much mass for me as well.
Yeah. I think there's something. I
think that, to be fair, they're better now. Like the last.
There's a lot of trainers that would adapt, right? So they would know that they have to apply a different process to somebody who's new.
80% of their patient base or their client base is going, I can't train. I'm sore today.
Yeah. No, I trained. I didn't train. I worked with a guy who did CrossFit for a long time.
Yeah.
And he had a complaint
once. All right in the head? Was he?
No comment.
Scientology.
No comment on that one. But he was at CrossFit, and he was saying one of his sessions was with a bunch of newbies, and they were in a group format, so they all had to lift the one barbell.
Yeah, right.
For a certain amount of reps in a certain amount of time before they could all move to the next station. And his complaint was that they couldn't do the 100-kilo deadlift.
Oh, so like it wasn't weight adapted to your skill level.
Incorrect. This is the weight we're doing, and if you have to do this.
Yeah,
and
I can't see them doing that anymore. But
well, I mean, this wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I guess it's the same as anything. You'll have good CrossFit gyms. You'll have bad CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get
good cars, bad cars.
Yeah.
Are there? No, sorry. You're my favorite.
But the same applies to, I mean, you'll have different F45s as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
People who come to F45 Glades will come for that reason. You'll have trainers there who know what they're doing, who will look after you.
Yeah.
And it's the same as a CrossFit. You go into a bad CrossFit gym, you'll have a bad experience. Someone who can't adapt that.
Not paying attention.
Yeah.
This is the exercise on the screen.
Yeah, exactly right.
Do that.
Right.
This is the WOD and there's no choice about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit in the back and just check.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, guys.
Well, I like not naming names, but the F45 I did go to, that the trainer trained himself.
Really?
During the class, which was, I mean, there wasn't a lot of people in there, but there were still mums. Probably should have looked after.
To each their own.
Yeah.
It sounds like sensible business.
Yeah.
But like it's the same as anything, right? Time and place for any exercise, and I'm sure there's arguments for and against any.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just finding what works for you, which is the same as
what's your goal?
If you're doing something, it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So you would
never complain about somebody deciding to move instead of staying on the couch.
Yeah. But if you do decide to do something, decide to do F45 at Gladesville.
At Gladesville.
Hashtag
F45GP.
Only
hashtag.
Hashtag.
At Ankit_F45GP.
Do you reckon the reason most people go to Gladesville F45 is because Kyle wears those ridiculous singlets where you can see his nipples half the time?
Yeah, and the shorter shorts than most of the girls.
Shorts.
I don't wear the singlets while I'm a trainer. Just
when you're training,
just when I'm
which
training.
is every second or third session.
Well, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get customers.
30%.
All right. If Aaron's a pimp and I'm the hoe, deal with it. Hey, deal with it.
Hey, work with your assets.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm still cut about that time the wifey goes, so Eric, you remember when your arms looked like cars?
And I'll never let you forget it. Don't worry about it.
Real deep that day. Women. What else we can talk about?
Well, where else have we gone with exercise? What?
I mean, what
so what style training do you do with? Because I know you do PT on the side as well. Hey.
Yeah.
And do you try and mimic? Like, do you do circuit stuff with them, or is it like their goals? I want to get swole for the beach, or is it like do you try and do mainly? Circuit-based stuff, or what do you do with the one-on-ones?
Different. I mean, and I think that's again a sign of trainers. Like, you should be able to adapt to every client. I have clients who are 22, 23 who want to get bigger and want to put on muscle.
Yeah,
and if you put them through a cardio circuit,
is there any exercise that you like particularly like as a like you use like almost everyone, whether they're trying to do function or whether they're trying to do size or whatever? I
think most
squats for everyone, that sort of thing.
I don't know, not necessarily.
Squats and push-ups.
You need to go through basic movement patterns, right? So 5 basic movement patterns: squat, lunge, push, pull, twist.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you need, people need to move, and if you're not doing those movement patterns, then like that forms the basis of all movement for people. So people should be able to do those things to relate to everyday life. Lunges relate to walking upstairs. So if you can't lunge or you can't
struggle,
do step ups, you can't walk upstairs. And
because you see that with and this is the one thing that comes across a bit. That like some people are just so immobile that the more complex movements I suppose. So this is the saving grace for F45. Like if you're doing a complex movement, you're generally not lifting heavy enough to cause damage. But you see people in there where they've just got zero movement in their thoracics, and every time they go down to do a deadlift, they just
Yeah.
But so you like that making sure you're mobile enough for the exercise that you're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, and that should be the basis of any training.
Yeah,
right? You should be aiming to move better, or do things
And so you incorporate like mobility work with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mobility work, strengthening, stretching.
Yeah.
Everything should be.
How's your? Because after we've been just crunching out your pecs, trying to get your shoulders a bit more open.
Yeah.
Is that changed your strength at all? Like you're getting more reps out with push-ups, or you find you're performing better with?
Well, actually,
range?
About when did we do the playoffs last? Was what, 6 weeks ago?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. I didn't do them because I was concerned my push-ups weren't where they were last time I did the playoffs. But one of the guys at the gym challenged me to do 40 seconds of push-ups, and I got more than I would have in 45 seconds. So
you're saying that I'm the best chiropractor in the world? Like, is that?
Yeah, 100%. If you want to,
I actually can't say that. I swore again. I'm just gonna have to edit out the last 30 seconds. Hey,
you'll be right.
just crunch it out.
Eric swore again.
Eric swore. and said some
terrible things.
Terrible things. But yeah.
No, it's I have definitely felt stronger through the chest region, but I don't know if it's necessarily a confidence thing because I was concerned of the pain, or I just wasn't even trying to do that. I mean, Sunday Fun Day we do push-ups, right?
Yeah. I
think the last week was my second to highest amount of push-ups, which was 90, 85.
Do you want,
the time before that was not. Eric got 92,
and then
I got less than Eric
each time.
Well, there was that one time you didn't.
Last 2 weeks.
No. The week before that, I definitely beat you because remember you called out 91, and I specifically did 92. Thank you. Yeah.
I swore again. Damn it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, that was never making the podcast.
That was never making
the whole session.
The whole time, man. Being out of it. But to answer the question, yeah, it is that stretching and that working through the shoulders is definitely helping me feel more confident and stronger.
Yeah. Nice.
And that's the aim of exercise, right? Strengthening weaknesses, getting better at movements, getting better at what you perceive as weakness. Yeah. So that's the whole aim. And if that's not your aim, then
what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah. So, I mean, everyone will have the different goals. Everyone will have. I suppose
because the other thing, like people who are like just want to get thin, and they're like just dieting to lose weight. Like that's got to be a punish.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just, I think it comes under an education thing as well. You know, once people start the gym or start training for the first time, and you'll generally see that change in people. They'll go from, I want to just lose as much weight as possible to wanting to do things better. And that just comes with learning exercises, learning training regimes, getting more education. But I would
actually enjoy moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's not as harsh as a lot of people put it. It's like, I don't want to bother with the gym, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And that's what you hear from a lot of people who don't actually move. But then a lot of people who actually don't hate it because it's...
Well, I used to hate group training. And then, I mean, that's before I actually got into group training.
Same.
And then, now I go to the gym on my own. I was like, do I have to?
Yeah, who do I have to chat to?
There's no one here to push me. I rock up to like F45 in the morning and I'm falling asleep on my feet, and then you see someone who's just... Come on, okay, guys, come on, let's do it.
Let's get high fives.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Pushes you.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
But again, like, it's a combination, right? Diet, exercise. Like, you find people who want to do it just through diet, and you will. Like, you can 100% fix up your diet and lose weight. So,
what would be the argument around what kind of weight are you losing by just dieting and not exercising?
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about specifically losing fat, gaining muscle, or maintaining muscle levels. Where is that discussion point of somebody who's not moving and only dieting? What are they losing? What's their body eating away at?
Well, so I'm not using these muscles. May as well
eat them, right?
See ya. Yeah, absolutely.
And then that would be further damage to your body.
Okay, I think we call it there. I got people to see.
Thank you for watching. To learn more from Dr. Scott, visit our site at optihuman.com.au.